Hello, I'm Steven,
I'm Aaron.
and we've just seen
Warfare.
new film that's out in theaters right now, starring DeFaro, Wunatai, Will Poulter, Joseph Quinn, Charles Melton, and it is directed by Alex Garland and Ray Mendoza. So you and I are big fans of Alex Garland. I would say he's one of my favorite filmmakers working today. I have pretty much loved all of his films that he's directed and probably all of the films that he's written. And so this one kind of came out of nowhere. This one was kind of surprising. I didn't realize that after Civil War he just made another movie. I'm always excited to see a new Alex Garland outing. And this one is very interesting because it can be summed up plot-wise in very few sentences. So what is this about?
So, in 2006 in Iraq, during the Iraq War, a group of Navy SEALs commandeer a local family's house to gain a strategic position where they can watch the enemy. Eventually, they realize that the enemy is moving in on their position, and then finally the enemy makes their move and attacks the American soldiers. And the rest of the movie is basically about the fallout from that attack, how they recover, and the rescue operation to remove them from the area.
A lot of the action in the movie is 90 minutes of this troop trying to get out of a building, which in a normal movie would be about 15 minutes of screen time. But the whole goal of the movie is just like put you in the moment and let you experience basically a slice of life war movie.
Yeah.
Showing you the tedium of the job and then the horrible trauma that ensues.
That's, I think, the thing I find the most respectable and I hesitate to say enjoyable, but
Engaging.
Yeah. It really brings you into the room with these guys and really helps you kind of understand the kind of things that they go through when they're doing their job. And then when, all hell breaks loose, like just how insane and confusing and traumatic it is. The whole first third of the movie is just them sitting in the house.
It's very quiet.
It's very quiet. There's a sniper who's taken a position on a few mattresses stacked up, looking out of like a 3-inch hole in the wall across town at the enemy to monitor their movements.
And we feel what he feels because he has to hold that position for extended periods of time. And of course,
he's making constant split-second decisions about, is the enemy making a move? Should I take the shot? Is this something important to relay to my team?
And he's also enduring the discomforts that would come with doing that. So it's
for
like
extended periods of time.
I gotta stand up and walk around. You take my spot for a minute. And
And then you've got the other guys who are relaying information to their ground teams in the surrounding areas, their air team, which is watching from above.
And then there's other people trying to inject some levity into it while keeping their voices down.
Yeah, you get a real sense of, like you said, the kind of the tedium of the job, but also the meticulous nature of what they do.
And the camaraderie.
And the camaraderie is a big thing. Like, every single thing is, written down in a note or communicated to somebody else through like shorthand or slang or, some other kind of military jargon. They really focus a lot on the realism and the details and try to get as much right as possible. And it helps that the co-director is someone who lived this day.
Yes.
So he really understands, what's important, what actually went down.
Yes, the whole conceit of the movie is that everything that happens is a memory of something that actually occurred. It's exclusively the memories of the people who were involved in that encounter. And it really feels like that. It doesn't feel like anything has been Hollywoodized or embellished.
Yeah. And the actors playing the parts, it's very clear that they took this very seriously and they tried to get as much right as possible. And they do a good job of selling kind of the tense atmosphere and the dread as the enemy starts to, make more and more moves. And it becomes clear that they're going to do something. They just don't know exactly what. You kind of get roped in where you start thinking about, like, the enemy positions and where they could attack from, what they might do. There's like a market that they're watching, and then somebody will walk up to a second floor and like look out a window, and you're like, Is there another gunner on the other side of that window? Like, are they watching our sniper? Do they know what's going on? There's like goings on in the inside of the building on the first floor. You start to take note in your own head, like, oh, there's a guy with a white shirt, there's a guy with a plaid shirt. I need to watch those guys and see what they're up to. And it really draws you into the tension and the dread of the situation. And then finally,
when the action kicks in, it's not like Hollywood action, exciting, high octane. It's hellish.
it's surprising, it's violent, it's out of nowhere.
I saw you jump when an explosion
Yeah.
occurred. A tank, I think,
It
got
was a
blown
tank,
up.
yeah. That doesn't really happen to me a lot in movies.
Yeah, you're pretty jump scare averse.
But here it completely worked, and it's because they put you on the ground with these guys. They
Built that tension for
Yeah.
extended periods of time.
like a lot of people I could see saying, "Oh man, we're just sitting around watching people talk on the radio for 30 minutes," but it's a lot more than that.
I get
And-
it really is like putting you in their shoes because you, as a viewer, are taken as surprised by that as they are.
Yeah, I honestly thought we were about to move on to like the next phase of battle somewhere else, but everything goes wrong and we're just stuck in this location. So it is incredibly surprising when that first big, well, not first big one, the second big action set piece happens where things really go poorly.
Yeah. Lives are lost. People are wounded.
Badly wounded.
People are dismembered.
Yeah.
And you have to experience the reality of people on the ground hurting, having to be administered with like morphine so they can endure the pain.
Yeah, it's not Hollywood pain where somebody loses a leg, they scream for 2 seconds, and then it's over. It's like, this is a constant thing that's happening that we have to take care of. You have to put pressure on. You have to bandage. You have to apply tourniquets. You have to give morphine.
And you have to hear the constant wailing and screaming of your comrades who are down on the ground bleeding.
Yeah, it's pretty tough to sit through, and it's really harrowing the way it's presented on the screen because it is presented in like such graphic detail and realism.
Yeah, authenticity is key. Now, a question will probably arise when the movie ends that a lot of people, a lot of reviewers are asking is this propaganda?
I was going to ask you the same question, essentially. I was going to ask you, do you think this movie is anti-war?
Okay, so the movie ends with like a little text that pops up on screen that says like basically thank you Bravo team for your service, thank you for your bravery. And of course, the Iraq War is justifiably considered one of the worst foreign policy blunders in American history. It was totally unwarranted, didn't need to happen. And you're wondering, is this movie glorifying it? So then I thought to myself, well, if this is meant to entice people into recruiting, a job failed because this does not make me want to enlist.
I don't think it's funny. I don't think it's propaganda, but I don't think it's also like entirely anti-war. I think what it is a dedication to the job that these people have, the hard work that goes into it,
Yeah.
the trauma they put themselves through, and the danger that they put themselves through. But it's also anti-war in the fact that it's almost like a little microcosm of the Iraq War itself.
This is like a cinematic diorama.
Yeah, it's like people are sent over here and there's confusion. We're here for a long time with not really knowing what we're getting out of it. Conflict breaks out. There's confusion, devastation, and by the end, both sides are no better off than when it started. And the casualties at the end of the day are the civilians who occupy the area. I also really appreciate how the movie ends because it opens with this team just occupying and commandeering this family's home.
Yeah.
Seemingly like without warning, without notice, they just barge in and they're like, we can have a tactical advantage here, so we just have to take your home and use it as our base of operations.
Which is not a heroic act, but it's realistic.
It's realistic. It's not heroic. but they're surely, following an order that was given to them
Yeah.
by, the top down. Doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it, respectable.
Whether or not these people want to do it, those are their orders, and they have to carry them out.
Yeah. So I don't think it's propaganda, because it does show that everything they're doing is not entirely right, and that there are real consequences for people who are not part of the conflict.
Yeah.
Which is, it would certainly not be part of a piece of propaganda.
Mm-hmm.
But it also does pay tribute to the work that these guys do, which I think is kind of an interesting middle ground to occupy. But I don't think you can call it entirely one or the other.
Yeah.
Another question I was going to ask you is if you think you'll ever watch this again.
Probably not. I love Alex Garland films, but I love his narrative films more than this. This is like I said, slice of life, cinematic diorama meant to invoke a feeling of hellish warfare, and I don't want to be there again.
Yeah, I was completely immersed and drawn into the world, drawn into the characters and the camaraderie, and I was very engaged with how detailed it was. I got the pounding chest in a few scenes because I was just really wondering, man, this is horrific and brutal, and I don't understand how this is going to turn out well for anybody. But I would certainly like for it to.
Mm-hmm.
But I also don't feel like I ever need to watch this again, because I saw it, I got the experience. Like I said, it's not something you enjoy watching.
No.
It's something you experience and you're immersed in.
Yeah, it's a piece of art, and art is sometimes not meant to take you to comfortable places, but to expose you to dark realities.
Yeah.
And this is very effective at that. It's very great filmmaking.
And on a small budget, too. Things like the flyovers, the shows of force, they'll have the jets fly extremely low to the ground so they can kick up all the smoke to confuse the enemy or to mask the scene in smoke.
Give people a chance to escape
Yeah.
amid the dust.
Just very well done, not fake at all.
Very well thought out, feels authentic.
Feels like there's a lot of dedication and attention paid to the little things, which I really appreciated.
Yeah. So Alex Garland, one of the best, and Ray Mendoza bringing his experience and his account of what went down. Those two minds together created a very effective, immersive piece of filmmaking. So what is your final number grade on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'd give this a really strong 9. I think it's exceptionally great at doing what it's doing, but again, it's not something I feel like I ever need to watch again.
Yeah, I would say it's a very strong 9. All of the elements come together masterfully. So that's Warfare. See it, but don't bring the kids, and don't expect to go out smiling.